Good morning, Business Athlete Nation. Nicole Bernard, special guest host Trisha Edwards.
Good morning.
Hey, Trish, what did you think of that opener today?
It's really nice. It's very fancy.
I looked at your comment yesterday when you were excited about showing up on the show, and you prefaced it by, it reminded you of like the morning shows you woke up with. And then I thought to myself, she has not seen the opener Keith and Nicole thrown together here. It's the ultimate in it's the ultimate in cheesy nostalgia, but just fits in 2024.
Yeah, and that's what I actually meant by it. It felt really good. I just remember those morning shows, always listening to them on the radio. I mean, they had limited technology in their day.
But there was a certain comfort in that, wasn't there, Tricia? Getting up and just that human habit, right?
Yeah, and you interacted with the same characters every single day.
Yes.
And you could call in if you wanted to chat. But yeah, you heard the same voices, you got your news, you got your little bit of information, a little bit of entertainment, especially if you were, driving to school on your own or driving to work on your own. I mean, we didn't have, audiobooks at our disposal or anything. So it was like you had another person in the car with you.
I know. Well, and so when I threw this thing together, I don't know if you've heard, I would not have expected you to hear this story, but hey nation, before we get into the story, big show today. We got the Unstuckable Creator with Trisha Edwards. Trisha has been a guest on Live in the Lab with Keith Bellis a month ago or so, a few weeks. We dropped the episode this week. We had an exceptional conversation. And I said, Trish, anytime you're around, just come knock on our door. And she's in the same time zone as Nicole. So I'm very fortunate that these awesome women have joined me first thing this morning. So we're going to talk Unstuckable Creator. I love surprising people, and we are going to shine the light this morning, Nicole Bernard, Trisha Edwards, on somebody named Kylie Hoke in our Creator Spotlight. So I messaged Kylie last night. She might be tuning in right now because I just got a message, Trish, before we got on the air. It was to the effect of, oh my God, I'm so thankful to be nominated for this, but it's too early. It's too soon. And I'm like, that's all right. We're still going to talk about you because you're awesome. And we love awesome people, because I loved her message. She talks about, in her message, she talks about, and Nicole, you and I have talked about this before, and Trish, I think, your idea of body-led therapy is that hunger is not a one-way street. Right?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Oh, hey, me and the peanut butter jar, me and Nicole, we bond. Keith and Nicole bond over peanut butter.
Oh, I can't bond over peanut butter. I can't have peanut butter.
Oh no.
What's funny is if you watched my shows back October, November, when I was eating peanut butter, to the shows that are coming in the new year of January, February, March, old Uncle Keith's face is a little less puffy. Because I haven't had any peanut butter since November. And Nicole Bernard, I still have not cracked this one.
Yep. Wow. You're stronger than me.
I know. It sits on my desk right in front of me, Trish. Like, it sits right in front of me. And I'm like, nah. I almost cracked it last night. So we are going to shine a light on Kylie Houck this morning. We are going to got a few things I want to talk about. I want to do a morning roll call, something I was thinking about introducing to the show. I want to remind everybody, Nicole, about our LinkedIn reviews with Naomi Rose Everly. I want to tell everybody that they can nominate your favorite creator. And I got a few things in the news that I want to kind of throw on the table here, which is it healthier to eat your vegetables before your carbs? Exactly. And I read a story, cardiologist. This is the one workout I do multiple times a week for heart health. Again, we're all about longevity here in the lab, right? That's kind of what we're always thinking about. And then one thing popped up by newsfeed today that I'm like, I might have a rant on this one. And it was this idea of be mindful of what you post on social media after a layoff. Are we still having this conversation in 2024? Honestly, we'll get to that in a few moments, but we're not going to go there just yet. I'll let you guys wake up and have your coffee. Maybe I've had my couple cups this morning. And then I'm going to introduce a photo to the lab this morning that I did not reveal on my conversation. Nicole, I did not see you participating in this chat last night.
Oh.
I might have tagged you in this one. Trisha led the conversation with posting a photo from last year. Trisha's like, no, wait a minute. That photo wasn't from last year.
Are we going through like wormholes and breaking down time?
Oh, I love my guests. I love having guests on the show that I can have fun with. No, so perhaps we'll bring it up in the feed here in a little bit here, but I believe when Trish and I were talking back on our first show, Nicole, I was like, "Hey, Trish, I need a photo for your cover." So she sent us one, and she's like, "I got one from like the 70s or 80s. That would be awesome." I'm like, "All right, throw it out there." So she threw it up on a LinkedIn feed last night, and and then tagged me in it. So then I tagged you in it, and I threw a couple photos of myself up there back in my airbanding days. Trisha Edwards.
I'm gonna have to throw up some of my mullet days.
You absolutely have. You absolutely have to. Yeah, my mesh T-shirt that I made in home economics class.
Wow.
Totally. Yeah, like I'd stitched it all together myself. It was just an exceptional accomplishment that I had there. So, so let me. You know what? Let's. What the heck? Let's just bring this up here. Let's not stop. Let's just bring it up. That's the best way to introduce Trish. Here we go. I'm going to pull it up here in the feed. Let's see here. I don't know. Where's that one there? Let's see here. Well, that's making bad radio right now this morning as I'm trying to find this conversation with Trish from yesterday. We'll get to it in a few moments, but I'm gonna show you guys a photo from the past from all of us and go from there. But listen, why don't we get into how was your guys' day yesterday? Nicole, how was your day? You're sipping your coffee. Trish, how was your day yesterday?
My day was good.
Yeah? Exciting?
Yeah.
Anything exciting? Anything boring? Anything? What did you accomplish yesterday? We're all about achieving big goals. What brought you about yesterday?
Yesterday was mostly I'm working on a new strategy for LinkedIn posts. So that's what I mostly because I think I mentioned this when we talked before. I've been learning. Before I came to LinkedIn, I thought I was a horrible writer. Now I think I'm a decent writer. But I've been working on my writing, and so every month I come across something new and I try to implement that so I can continue to improve. So that's what I was working on.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So you think you're a horrible writer?
Well, not so much now. I think I'm a pretty decent LinkedIn writer now. My writing skills have drastically improved. I think I still have a long ways to go, but they're getting there.
What was there an aha moment or something that struggle that made you was there an aha moment that you're like, you know what, I got to work on this?
Yeah, I knew I was probably losing my job. And speaking of getting layoffs, I knew I was probably, and I will talk about it. I don't have a problem. I knew that I was probably getting laid off. I didn't know when. I didn't know what the details were. There was a lot of unknowns. I don't even know that my higher ups had the answers at that point, but I knew something was happening. So I looked at I did inventory. What am I really good at? What can I do? Where's my weak points? Where can I improve myself? And then of those, I looked, which are the ones that are going to move me the fastest? And for me, it was like, I'm a really good instructional writer, but not a writer. When you get out of the how-to steps, that's when anything else I'm not so good at. So that's where I started, because it's communication. That's the key to everything, right?
It is, absolutely is. Good on you for having that awareness and pausing and going, I got to get better at this.
Yeah.
Most would I tend to generalize, so I'll rephrase that. I'm thinking most would just kind of go forward and not really pause and would think, okay, I'm just going to figure this out. Right? So, so good on you. Look, listen, I found something that we're going to just pop on the screen here quickly. It looks like this. So here is Trish circa. Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, this is our guest host, Trisha Edwards. It's 2024. Trish took that picture yesterday, and she went through a massive transformation in the last 24 hours to appear on the show today. So, Trisha, what era was this photo taken?
It was, it would have been this summer. It was my senior picture. I graduated in 89. So actually it was 88 then. Because you take your senior pictures before you graduate.
Oh, that is awesome. Nicole, did you have hair like that? Did you have hair like that, Nicole? No.
I just had like a mullet, which I need to get you the picture.
You do need to get this picture. Yes, absolutely do. Because I'm going to throw this one up here for everybody to see. So this is old Uncle Keith here. This is grade 9. Yeah, I was airbanding Striper and White Lion. So if you guys remember those bands, those hair metal bands back from the 80s and 90s, Striper was a Christian rock band. They weren't really a Christian rock band, but they were a Christian rock band. And White Lion was with a couple twins, a couple blonde guys. So that was my band. So that's my drummer Neil behind me. And yeah, so I made what you're seeing. I made in home economics class. Yeah. Does home economics still exist? There's another one there of me singing on stage. Yeah. All air. Like I'd full on spandex back when spandex weren't even a thing. Right? Like I'm telling you that microphone stand was made out of mom and dad's mop handle and complete airbanding. But you can see from a young age, I clearly was on my path to the biggest talk show host in the world.
Yeah, you got a mic in your hands. Yeah.
Dude, like no question about it. No question. Trish, thoughts? Could that resonate with you?
Well, completely. But I would say spandex was kind of a thing, depending on who you were. I remember I had these black spandex pants and I wanted to wear them to school. And my parents, I mean, I was probably 17 or 16 and big trouble for trying to wear them to school. So it was easy. You just wear them underneath pants.
There you go.
Underneath your jeans, take your jeans off when you get to school, right? That's what I did.
Oh, you rebel, you rebel. All right, it's we're 14 minutes into the show here. I got something I want to show you guys that I want to there's Ange there shopping it up there with Chick. Oh yeah, Ange. So I went to school with Ange. Ange knows me back in the day when I was just a little shorter than I am today. I'm Trish, do you have the same issue I have? Because I know we're the same age. Are you getting shorter?
No, I'm not, which is I don't know why I'm not, because I do know a lot of people who are, but so far I actually between college and 30 I grew an inch. That's weird, but I did.
Really?
Oh. Wow. I'm totally getting shorter, or at least all my everywhere around is getting taller. But Nicole, you got much to look forward to, kid, as you get older, because you're gonna get shorter. I'm telling you. I swear I was 5'7.5" one day. Now I'm tickling 5'5". Just struggling with that whole thing. But anyways, I want to segue to, so what's shaking, Ange? Yesterday, before I'm going to take a break, we're going to take a break in a moment, nation, to go grab your coffee. So if you're sitting back wondering what's next, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to dig into a further conversation with Trisha Edwards. I want you guys to get to know Trish because I want you to go watch the 1 hour episode I had with Trish, 60-75 minutes. We had about an hour a couple weeks ago. Awesome conversation. But Trish is the Unstuckable Creator. She leads with body-led therapy. Love that idea, that prospect, just the whole concept of it. We're going to talk about that in a few moments. But before we do that, ladies, yesterday, you guys know who Dan Go is?
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, so Dan Go is on a mission to I'm going to pull it up here. So Dan, I want to do a show. So I don't know Dan. Dan is on a mission to help 1 million people transform their bodies by 2027.
Ooh.
How about that? But
That's a big goal.
Is that not a big goal? Holy smokeronies, man. But he posts this yesterday on the show. And I want to pull this up here and show y'all what he posted on his feed, I should say. So he posts this yesterday on his show, which is, check out this accomplishment.
It's Dan, and I just want to say thank you so much. We just reached 300,000 followers on LinkedIn, and if you told me that we would have 300,000 followers way back when I started, I kind of just say that you're a crazy person. So you watch my posts, if you watch my videos, if you comment, and if you just interact with me on a regular basis, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. LinkedIn in general, and also the people that I interact with, namely you, are 99.9% really awesome, positive people. and quite attractive, if I might add. So I just want to say thank you. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for following. Thanks for taking my advice and putting it into action. And I'm going to be coming out with a lot more. So stay tuned. And again, I appreciate you. Thank you.
So there's Dan Go, 300,000 followers. I wanted to give him a shout out on behalf of the morning show, Trisha and Nicole. He's a big dude on LinkedIn, but also I thought I would do this for Dan because a couple weeks back, Dan put out something on LinkedIn, which is like, hey, if you want to live longer, now listen, nation, if you're paying attention to what I'm saying, here's the hook. You want to live longer. Who doesn't want to live longer?
Yeah. I don't know who
Exactly.
wouldn't.
So Trisha, Nicole, you're gonna have some homework after what you see next. Because Dan said if you can do this, no, I did it with weight, but if you can do this, you will live longer. So Dan Go, out of respect and an acknowledgement of your massive accomplishment of 300,000 followers on LinkedIn. Hey Dan, a few weeks back you said if we could do this, we would live longer. Well, I'm trying to do this so I can catch up to you, to your 300,000 followers. Congratulations, man. All right, here we go. I think I'm going to live long enough to catch up to you, 300,000. Hey, Dan. So there you go. I'm going to live longer, guys.
That looks hard.
Dan, thanks for the inspiration. Congratulations on your awesome accomplishment from Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Nicole and our special guest host, Trisha Edwards. So we're going to follow your journey to 600,000 or 1 million followers, but keep it up, my man. I know you're spreading some great love. Awesome here on LinkedIn. That's what I love doing here. Shining the light on others, man. That's what we like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So Trish, Nicole, let's go take a break. We'll do a 1 minute coffee break, 1 minute or so. It's, Canadian coffee breaks have 30% extra. So about, 60 to 90 seconds. Besides, we got to pay the bills. So you guys go grab your coffee. We'll come back and we're going to talk about Trisha Edwards, the Unstuckable Creator, coming back in a minute. All right, good morning, nation. We are back here. We are 20 minutes into our show here this morning with myself, Nicole Bernard, and Trisha Edwards joining us all the way from, Trisha?
Los Angeles.
Yes, Trisha joined us first thing this morning from LA where the day is just breaking. Hey, Trish, how was the eclipse out there in Los Angeles there a couple of days ago? You didn't see much, did you?
No, I didn't get the glasses.
Yeah.
But I didn't notice anything outside. So I don't know. I was outside. I forgot about it because I knew we weren't in line with it. So,
right.
I went online and looked at other people's pictures.
I went and I took a picture and, I just glanced up and took a picture and I was like, I can't see. But I took a picture and for posterity purposes. So it was good. It was really good. All right. So what I missed in our first segment, still getting used to the flow here. What I missed in the first segment was our accountability check-in. I like to do that every single day. It's a theme we're building here on the show, which is just giving something for people to chew on as they start their day. So Trish, we're going to talk about this and we're going to move over to our conversation to you. But is there a belief that success isn't an accident or luck? Right? You work for it every single day.
Yeah.
Right. Discipline over motivation, compound progress. You learn by doing, resilience building, and accountability to you. And, it's just this idea of legacy, not all at once, but day by day. Trish, what is your philosophy on this idea of success isn't an accident or luck? You just got to put the time in.
I think more than anything, you have to put your mind into it in a way that you create action for yourself. That the action feels really easy. Like I can bully myself into anything, but I don't feel good. And therefore my actions then don't come out all that great. You know what I mean? You show up differently.
Yes.
But if you can start to formulate your mindset around a way that it feels good and it feels like it's coming from within you, as opposed to somebody telling you this is what you need to do, then it's much easier to show up every day. It's much easier to put your best foot forward. It's much easier to get it all done, the best things done that you need to get done. You start to see the things that move your needle versus the things that are the noise.
It's very true. And just this whole idea of discipline over motivation. I know Nicole and I talk about it often. I'm not a big fan of motivation because I think it's like sugar. It's short-lived.
Mm-hmm. It's fleeting.
It is fleeting because you're chasing it, right?
Yeah.
It's like any other. It's not there all the time.
It's not. Yet discipline, again, so you're listening this morning, you're tuning into our morning show here. And if you're tuning into the show, my thought process is you're a business athlete. You believe in the principles we're talking about. You believe in either moving forward or trying to move yourself forward. And the hope is that you tuning into the show, we're giving you the fuel to get yourself moving today or tomorrow or later today, with just some of the words we're putting in your head. So, again, big fan of discipline over motivation. Compound progress, Nicole, Trisha, each day adds a brick to the foundation, the compound effect, right?
Mm-hmm. It's so true. I think we all want to see like such quick results, but you really do have to lay a foundation.
Well, and Nicole, we talked about this yesterday with Liz Wilcox, right? She played around with her. It was at $9 a month, $10 a month. She was kept iterating, landed on $9 a month.
Yeah.
And makes it simple, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where does compound progress work into your life, Trish?
For one of the key things that I do, I have a creative practice. It's 1 minute each day. It's 60 seconds, but it's easy. It's fun. There's no product at the end. It just flexes my creativity. So my creative thinking, and it may not seem like much, but after you do this every day for a while, it's very easy to incorporate. Anytime you can make it easy and pair it with other things that you're already doing, that's where it becomes habit. It becomes automatic. So that's what I always try to shoot for.
Absolutely.
How can you make those compounding things into automatic habits?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of learn by doing. I'm a massive fan of learn by doing. I jump in and do, and I joke. And I think why Nicole and our, peanut butter and jam is that she's like, hey, let's do something. I'm like, let's do something. And we just started. And if you looked at the first show compared to today's show, like we've literally just been 1% better. You look at our, even look at the whole lab concept. And it's just, if I can encourage listeners right now to do anything, is just start.
Yeah.
You're going to fall, right, Trish? You're going to fall.
Yep.
Get up and just do it again tomorrow. And I know it's hard. I'm not trying to suggest it's easy to anybody listening, but really just learn by doing and going, and it's going to build your resilience. Consistency breeds resilience. It's interesting, Trish, Nicole, I had Sam Oblitz on the show a couple of days ago from Claim.co, and he told me, he's like, Keith, I'm so nervous doing this live show. I'm like, dude, really? He's like, yeah. And so Nicole, I invited him back. I'm like, come get your reps in.
Yeah. No, he did great too. I'm surprised. Like I wouldn't have thought he would have been nervous at all, because he did fantastic.
He totally did fantastic. He'll love hearing you say that. But I said to him, Trish, I said, Sam, come back to the show, just like I invited you back. I'm going to come back to the show, bring your coffee, come get your reps in, get in front of the camera, just come and hang out with us. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, come back. So as Trisha knows, friends of the lab are always friends of the lab. And the last one is accountability to you. Got to be accountable to yourself.
Yep.
That goal is a daily promise to yourself. And it's funny, we posted something yesterday in the brand built community. People judge other people's goals. And I think sometimes we allow it to affect ourselves when the reality is, nah, your goal is your goal. It's your mission, your purpose. Do not let anybody get inside that to get at you. So, all right, let's shine the light, Nicole Bernard, on our guest host today, which is Trisha Edwards. Mm-hmm. So she's like, oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah, really? Yes, absolutely, really. So Trish and I met, as I said, a number of weeks back. We did a show live in the lab. And Trish posted something a couple days ago that struck me, and I want to share it with Nation here. And then I want to talk about it with Trisha and Nicole, which is stuck in Stuckville. Trisha was there. She was trapped in a cycle of delete and redo. Her efficiency tanked. Her creativity stalled. She was moving from fashion design to education. She pushed the limits until the mundane hit. Reports, endless blank screens, overwhelm became her norm. Doubt crept in. Probably some imposter syndrome, and I'll use that term we've all had, crept in. Productivity hacks were just Band-Aids for Trish. She was facing the blank cursor. You've all done it. You sat down looking at the blank cursor, the white piece of paper going, oh my God, or the big chat GPT screen. What the hell am I doing? She said, is it me or is it my approach? She asked herself. She had applied her creative process to the mundane. Over 15 years, she refined and tested new strategies. Now, Trisha switches from stuck to flow in a few minutes, which is exceptional. The results she has found, she's efficient, she delivers quality work, she's got this renewed self-worth. And that's what I love when I hear somebody's got that renewed self-worth, right? She turned these insights into a mission for her, helping leaders like you, Nation, escape Stuckville. Mm. And what I like about this, Tricia, is that your program isn't about tasks. It's a mindset shift. It's for adaptability, for those, quote unquote, that are not creative, to become more adaptable, spend time less stuck, lead with innovation. It's more than teaching. It's building a community for unleashing potential. So I have an invitation for all of you in Business Athlete Nation. If you're ready to leave Stuckville, because I know some of you are, join Trish. You might find a way to discover an agile, empowered self, because alone you're powerful, but frankly, you're unstoppable together. And the question that Trish puts out is, who's ready to become unstuckable? So Trish, what prompted that post? Obviously, I get a sense of what prompted it, but let's dig into that post that you wrote so that Business Athlete Nation can get a better sense of Trisha Edwards today.
Well, I think that it's, I find that I like sharing my story, because I find every time that I share parts of my story, anytime you can get a little bit vulnerable, other people, and it may not be the people who comment, or maybe even the people who give the reactions, it can be the lurkers, the invisible people, that they're not broken. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm not the only one. I'm not alone in that this happens to other people. And it shines a light of a little bit of what's possible, that, oh, I didn't know this was a thing. That's where, when I first started my journey with mindset, started because I wanted to lose weight. And there were things that I have since experienced I had no idea were things. I didn't know that they existed. And so I think it's also good for people to know about the ugly side of transformation, as opposed to, I don't think of my journey as the ugly side, but to an outsider that might be like, ooh, I'm really sorry, and wanting to give all the sympathy and everything. But it's a part of it, but it's valuable. I wouldn't trade that part for anything, because I've learned so much of myself in this process. And I see people who say that they're not creative where they are, when they are. I have worked with people, and I have people in my life. I think we all can say this, that, wow, I can see you're struggling and I don't know how to help you. And I don't know, most of the time they have to help themselves, because I don't have anybody's answers. The answers are always within you, but having that guidance of someone to be able to help you find that. And that's was my first experience with the coach. That it was powerful. It's hard to explain to somebody if you haven't gone through it.
Totally. I love that you said that, because same thing. I wasn't aware a few years ago. And then once you kind of started that journey, you're like, oh my God.
Talk about that, Nicole. So I saw your ears perk up and your facial expression changes, Nicole, as Trisha was talking. Share your experience with that.
Well, yeah, I didn't even really start knowing that mindset, or I don't know, like that's such a broad term. I don't know, like digging deep, kind of peeling back the layers until after my parents had passed away. That's kind of how my journey started. But again, just finding strength when didn't really know you had it. Just, I don't know, it's hard to actually talk about, like Trisha's saying, like, unless you go through it, like, I don't know, I have a hard time putting into words, just the different, things that I discovered along the way. But it's so worth it.
Well, and I like that, Trisha, you chose the word unstuckable, because it's not a word that is obviously often used, but I think it's a great way to describe how people are often feeling, but don't know how to describe how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't have to be total, like I 100%, like I'm in a burnout, heading towards burnout, and I can't move today and can't get out of bed, or I absolutely hate my job. You can still feel stuck and feel okay about your job. I didn't hate my job, but I still felt stifled and stuck in certain ways.
And then as you told me on our show, what led your creative journey was doodling and your love for doodle art. And Nicole, I'm not sure, I would not have expected you to spend much time on Trisha's profile, but I'll invite you to now that you've met Trish. She is an exceptional artist. So like, cool. Look at the work she does. Like, you talk about getting out of your head to be creative. And this is how Trisha expresses herself. Like, what a wonderful way to find creative energy just with doodling. And then when I introduced Trisha on she said that first post that was 21 doodles later, wasn't it, Trish?
Yeah.
Like, doodling is your form of therapy, is it not?
It is. Yes and no. It's part of my therapy. And doodling and art is how I access my thoughts and my feelings. It's how I access the inside of me, because I don't think in words. And
have you always been like that? Like, sorry, have you always drawn, or?
Yes, since I was really little, and I was encouraged. So I was one of those who somebody saw something and encouraged it. I think we're all creative. It's just some people are discouraged from it. But when I discovered this, and it was because I was listening to a book by Temple Grandin, and she was talking about visual thinkers versus non-visual thinkers. And she's a visual thinker. And so I didn't even know it was a thing until she said it. And then it clicked. And then I was like, that is me. And shoot, I can't think of what I was going to say. It made sense why I was not in the fastest reading class, why I was in the lower reading class. It made sense why I was a terrible speller. It made sense why I struggled with, like, and back in my day, we had to write cursive. And I never got a great grade on cursive writing because I either slowed down and took my time to make it look good and then not finish, or I would speed up to finish it, but then it didn't look good, so I get marked down. And it was kind of the same thing on tests. I was a slow reader, so it was harder to take tests on certain things. So everything kind of clicked when I discovered that about myself. And I know that I think it's like around 50% of the population are visual thinkers, and most education is not made for them.
Interesting. And then you coined, I'm not sure if you coined the term, but you've led with the term of body-led therapy, where you established a way of belief around of of your creative energy coming through your body, right? You're leading your decisions, you're leading your processes, you're leading your workflow from how you feel within. Am I describing that properly?
Yeah. So it's not just how you feel within, it's cutting off your critical mind and letting your body lead the way. So like when I start doing art, I don't think, oh, I want to put these two colors together, they blend really well. I just let my hand pick up one. And there, when I first started doing this, I had so much judgment, like that's the wrong color, you're putting it in the wrong place, it's not going to look good, it won't be balanced. And that's all the training that I had, and experience in the rules of design. It had nothing to do with expression. It's the rules that's put on us. And I mean, the rules are good because it does help with good design and everything. But my goal was to find my own expression. It's kind of like how, Nicole, you were talking about, sometimes it's really hard to explain. It's hard to express, hard to put into words. But so often we cut ourselves off and start judging where we are or what we can't communicate properly the way that we want to. We question it, we debate it, all that self-doubt comes into play. And that does not help you with expression. It does completely the opposite. It basically says, I'm going to put tape on your mouth. It's just easier that way.
Interesting. Trisha Edwards joining us here this morning, guest host, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Nicole, talking body-led therapy. And I think this is a great segue, Trisha, into, you've been very open with speaking with me on the last conversation we had around just, again, body image and body-led therapy and weight and age and all of that. You've been very vulnerable. And Kylie Houck, shaking Kylie, surprise, creator spotlight, going to shine a light on Kylie Houck here right now. So Kylie Houck is going to take the stage on where is she? Right here. There she is. She can take the stage right now, Trish. I said to you, Kylie, I'm gonna throw it out there. I said to Trish yesterday, hey, you're coming on the show. Anybody you'd like to nominate for a creator spotlight? And she's like, I have a few people. So she threw some names over my way, and I did a little bit of research myself, and I was like, oh, I like what Kylie's doing. I like the message she's delivering. But what stood out for me, Trisha, was her willingness to be vulnerable. And she's like, yeah, so I was 198 pounds in 2019, and I'm 133 since 2021, right on her profile.
Wow. It was one of the first things that struck me too.
In my experience of human beings in life, and Trish, you know that I knocked on your door a couple of days ago and said, I'm sorry that our title had an error because we had your name in it. You're like, no, I'm okay. I'm vulnerable. I'm sorry, your age in it. You're like, no, I'm okay with it. But in my experience, Nicole and Trish, we generally don't talk about weight and we generally don't talk about ages. And here's Kylie Houck on her front profile saying, yeah, I was this, now I'm this. I can help you women eat stress-free and navigate between deprivation and overindulgence with mindfulness and moderation. I love that. And then what really struck me, Kylie, was your post yesterday, which was this concept of ever felt like hunger is just your body's way of saying, hey, it's time to eat. Because I know every single person listening to this show right now has had that conversation as I'm throwing up my Reese's peanut butter cup in front of the camera. Hunger is just not a one-way street, as Kylie puts it. It's a full-on conversation, Nicole Bernard, between your body and your brain, right? Mm-hmm. How do you feel after a big run?
Hungry.
But then you ask yourself, are you really hungry, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, especially.
I do now. Yeah, I didn't when I was younger.
Yeah. But then we ask ourselves, should we have the bowl of spaghetti? Should we, I got to go to a wedding this weekend. I just had a run. I got to have the bowl of spaghetti on. I'm not going to fit well in my dress or my pants. And then we just start beating ourselves up on our head, don't we, Trisha?
Yep.
We all been there, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Kylie talks about, hunger is your body's language telling you what it needs, whether that's fuel, comfort, or even just a glass of water. But she talks about it's time we explore how to respond to our body's signals with curiosity. what I loved. Not judgment. So as you're going through your day today, nation, I think it's important to judge your feelings of hunger, as Kylie would say, with respect, curiosity, and not judgment. Because there is enough judgment going on in your world right now, as you're listening to this, that the last thing you need to do is look in the mirror and judge yourself for your body. Am I wrong, Trisha, Nicole?
I think it's a beautiful way that she is approaching everything. To me, I relate to it because I think of let's go through the like from a flow, let's add to things as opposed to detract. Let me edit. Often we get into edit mode before we ever really fully explore the brainstorming part of things, and you miss out on what could be. And what she's offering, why I'm so attracted to her, it reminds me of the body led, that she really is wanting to communicate with her body and she's not trying to reframe thoughts in her head, because I know that does work as well, but there's so much of that, and I've experienced a lot of that, and it hasn't changed my journey completely, maybe a little bit, but not a lot, where she's just, it's openness. I really like that approach as opposed to trying to stop doing something.
Yeah. And I like her approach around it's nourishing your well-being inside and out. Like it's clear to me, her philosophy is let's find something that works for you. Let's have respect with it. Let's be organic about it. Let's have that connection with the feeling, and let's not chase that feeling of hunger, thirst, like distinguish between hunger, thirst, and emotional needs instead of just quickly trying to fix it, as we all like to do. Right. So today's creator spotlight, Kylie, Houck, great work. You're doing awesome work. Trisha nominated you. Thank you, Trish, for doing that. She's a big fan. I'm now a big fan. I'm sure Nicole's a fan. We're going to be following you and following your journey here on LinkedIn. And that's what we like to do here in the Lab Nation, is take a light and find a creator and then just shine the motherfucking light on them and elevate them. That's what we want to do. So if you're listening and you're like, hey, I like this person's work, Keith, Nicole, shine the light on them. Come knock on our door. We will take that light, we'll shine it on them, because every day we want to highlight the awesome people that are in the LinkedIn community and all the work that they're doing along the way. So, Trisha, thank you for that nomination. That was, I'm sure Kylie is very much going to appreciate that. All right, let's shift our attention to let's talk a little bit about, is it healthier to eat your vegetables before your carbs? Thoughts, ladies?
I'm just I don't know. Would it matter? I mean, do we absorb them better or something?
So there is, I'm going to pull up my article here. So there's different science on all of that, right? There's an argument that suggests that you should have your protein first and your fiber first and all that first before you get to your carbohydrates. Some will say this, some will say that. At the end of the day, what I think I want to pay attention to, and this is where we like kind of segued out of Kylie's Kylie. So I found this article in the New York Times, and just to preface, I know Western media haters, just hold your horses, hold them. I like to get a broad source of content from all over the planet. So whether it's the Times, whether it's Al Jazeera, whether it's my state media, CBC, I try to find the stuff. I look at the sources and do a little bit of information and so forth. So what I'm telling you is not gospel from the New York Times. I'm just presenting stuff for consideration. That's it. It's all that I'm doing based on these experts that I found in the article. So apparently meal sequencing might be of value to you, nation, if you're going to eat your fats first, your carbs first, your protein first. And the research suggests that in 2023, a review of 11 studies, for instance, 11 studies happened in 2023. Researchers concluded that people who saved carbohydrate dense, rich foods for the end of the meal after vegetables and proteins had significantly lower blood sugar levels than when they consumed them first.
Interesting.
Now, I can tell you, I have worn a a continual glucose monitoring device. I've tried this out where I've eaten my fats first or my proteins first or my sugars and fibers. There's no question that my insulin spikes along the way based on the food going into my body, right? So there's now in 2019 study, 15 people with pre-diabetes, doctor said they asked them to eat a meal of skinless grilled chicken, salad, ciabatta in 3 different orders on 3 different days. Ciabatta first, followed by chicken, and salad first, followed by. Researchers measure participants' blood sugar levels right before they ate and every 30 minutes for 3 hours after each meal. They found that when the participants ate the chicken and salad before their bread, their blood sugar spikes following the meal were about 46% lower than when they eat their bread first. So, should everyone eat like this? As the article goes on, it says, not really. And really the summary is, and this is what goes back to our friend who we shined the light on, Kylie, you got to find what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You really need to find what works for you and your body. So, if you're struggling with some diabetes, issues, you might want to consider eating your proteins first, your fibers first, and leaving your carbohydrates aside. If you're running for a marathon or training for your athletic abilities, thinking that you might not be afraid to have some pasta and some fiber and some protein and get yourself going. But the reality is you need to find what works for you. And it wasn't until that moment, guys, that I found what works for me. Life became quite magical. Mm-hmm. Whether it's body-led therapy, Trisha Edwards, or macro counting, or just eating what I want to eat, it's just this idea of finding what's good for you and then magnifying that. Right?
So true. Yeah. What works for you, Keith?
I intermittent fast, actually. I don't eat during the day. I eat between 5 o'clock until about 10 o'clock, and then I'm done for the day until tomorrow. So I train fasted. I just have my coffee in the morning, and that's it. And then when
5 to 10 in the afternoon or like the evening?
Yeah. So I won't eat all day. I won't eat until 5 o'clock, and then I have a pretty balanced meal. Lauren does a wonderful job feeding us some balanced food. So like last night, we had a little stir fry. Chicken and vegetables and rice, but I'm pretty diligent that way. What about you guys? What works for you, Nicole?
Ever since we've started this show, because I used to intermittent fast as well, but now that I'm up a lot earlier, I'm so hungry by the time. And so now I eat a little bit before I run, which before I didn't eat until I got home. So I'm kind of in a flux right now, trying to figure out what does work, because I don't really like eating before, but I'm really hungry, and then I get distracted because I'm really hungry because I really like to eat. So I don't know. I'm kind of switching right now. So
there you
trying
go.
to figure out what works. But.
Yeah. What about you, Trish? Angela Lee says, eat meat and animal fat. Carbs not necessary. Thanks for the input there, Miss Ange. What about yourself, Trish? What works for you?
I don't like to eat breakfast. I don't like to eat in the morning. Yeah. Black coffee is normally what I have. So I never really planned intermittent fasting, but I think that's what I do. Normally it's lunch, and then I in the evening we have a fairly early dinner when you have kids.
Yes.
Sometimes dinner comes early, and and that's just what fits in my life. I tried doing the breakfast thing, because it's when I was starting weight loss, that's what they all the apps said, you have to eat breakfast. That's the key. And I ate it, and I didn't feel great. So I stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is probably a good segue as we work towards wrapping up the show here at 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Our goal here is to wrap up by the 55-minute mark so we can get the post-production done and get it back on the loop. But it's probably a good segue. You said experts. People are like, say, hey, eat this, hey, eat that. I love experts. I love when experts tell me to be mindful of what you post on social media after a layoff. How was that for a segue there, nation? So, Trisha Edwards, what do you think of that statement? Be mindful of what you post on social media after a layoff.
I'm assuming maybe it comes down to, if you're looking for a job after the layoff, that you want to be careful that you're not the way that you present yourself so that you're attractive to the next employer. I'm assuming that's probably what it comes down to. Don't go on rants.
All right, show's over. Keith has no rant coming up, so we'll see you guys tomorrow with Keith can have a rant because Trisha will not be on the show. So he'll give me the space to have a rant. No, all kidding aside. Nicole, what's your thought process on social media after you're being laid off or fired or whatever it is?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I agree with Trisha. Like, if you want to kind of, it's understandable that you're going to be upset, but maybe if you're not wanting to kind of look at a certain way for a new employer, that's what I would think. Go out, have some wine with your friends and rant there, maybe, but not on your social media.
Yes. So here's my POV on this. I think I'm just maybe at a point in my life a little bit where I just am maybe tired of everybody just telling us what to do.
Yeah.
Like what to do, what not to do, when it's like, why can't we just lead with, and maybe I'm just freaking naive here, but why can't we just lead with some humanity? Whether how we're going to fire somebody or lay somebody off, let's stop emailing them. Let's stop doing it cold. Let's do it with humanity. And then when you lose your job, get onto social media. If you want to post about it, then post about it. If you don't, then don't, but do it with grace. Do it with, like, if you walked into a room, and I don't think you're going to walk into a room and get on the stadium and say, hey, everybody, I just got laid off from ABC and I'm going to make a big announcement about it. You're probably not going to do that. Right. So do we need an expert to say, hey, Trisha, you shouldn't do that on social media? So first of all, we shouldn't be shitting on anybody because shitting doesn't get us anywhere.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm going to just invite Nation that if you're being laid off or you've been fired, just consider how you're going to communicate out there. And I'm by no means no expert. Just consider how you're going to communicate. And I really believe on leading with the principles of humanity, kindness and empathy and all of that. And I think you'd be quite surprised. And if you're looking for a next job, I think the other point here too is, guys, is we're so focused on putting people in a box around rules. How about be a human? Be yourself, because somebody out there is going to hire you as a human being. Mm-hmm. I believe. Am I wrong?
No, I agree. Well, and just respect, right? Like, just general respect. That's all.
It is general respect. Yeah. So there's my medium rant. I didn't go too far, ran out of time here, but social media people, or people that are getting fired or laid off, two ways to go about that. And here, one other thing too. To folks that are sitting back and recording themselves being fired or laid off, I don't have a problem with that. And I'll tell you why. Because if you feel the need to record yourself being laid off or fired, there's a bigger problem going on. Mm-hmm. There's clearly a toxic situation where Trisha's like, okay, well, Keith called me for a meeting. I better get my phone set up so I can record the interaction. Really? Like, clearly the respect has been gone a long time ago before I can say, hey, Trish. That's like parents like, oh, blame the bad music because my kid's a bad person. Actually, no. Go look in the mirror and go and parent your kid. So I grew up in that era, right? It was like, oh, you can't listen to Ozzy Osbourne or Judas Priest. Trish, you probably the same era. I know, Nicole, you too. It's like, oh my God, that guy's got eyeliner on his face. He must be the devil. Yeah. He's a good marketer. He's a brilliant marketer. Mm-hmm. So anyways, just be human. There you go. There's I guess I kind of had to go there. So Trish, what do you got going on today? Thanks for joining us today in the lab. Getting out of bed first thing.
Well, I don't know if there's going to be a special plan, but 14 years ago today, my husband proposed to me. So, at the very least, maybe we'll do a little memory lane, a little stroll.
Well, that's spectacular. How did he propose to you?
At the place that we had our first date.
Oh.
Aww.
So.
Where was that?
Was at the Grove, right in front of Coffee Bean.
Nice. Well, congratulations on that to you and your husband. Nicole, what do you got planned today? I suspect we're going to chat at some point. What do you got planned today?
Pickleball. Today is the pickleball day.
Oh, yes, it's Thursday. It is pickleball day. You. Heartland Jones, Ford Dyke with Shaken Gentlemen. Nicole's going to do her pickleball episode here today. That's awesome. Caroline's excited, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. She is. Yeah, she's really excited.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Hey, Mark Boer. Mark joined me in the lab yesterday. He's tuning in right now. So, Mark, what's shaking? Mark's joining us from Arkansas. Mark is that defense contractor, counterterrorism expert, all around awesome dude. Nicole absolutely had to kick in the Espinosa effect yesterday. It was shaking Christian Espinosa. Mark and I are scheduling a round 2. So I'm going to have a week of round 2s coming up with John Anderson and Mark and Christian Espinosa and Mark Boer, Sam Oblitz, all these people that like 1 hour is just not happening to be enough. So, and before I go, I promised Tricia something yesterday that I would show to Nation, and I'm going to show it here right now. Let me just pull this up here. That I think we'll leave the show with perhaps this right here. Yeah, this works.
Nice.
So there we go. That is, yeah, check out the hair, check out those awesome legs, the jean jacket, just styling.
How short are your shorts? Like, are you wearing shorts?
Oh, I'm wearing shorts, all right, kid. Yeah, maybe I should. They're still upstairs in the drawer. Yeah, they're
wow.
I did have a picture of me doing Happy Baby as well as a baby, Nicole, but I figured I'd leave that one.
Just don't do Happy Baby in those shorts.
Yeah. So this guy is, what did I just follow? Well, you want to know what you just followed? You're following some schmo with short shorts here in the lab. I love it.
That is awesome.
I love that. I love that.
I emailed you my mullet picture, so we can share that. This is me circa 1980.
Oh, my goodness. Look at this, Nation. I got something to show to you before we say goodbye. We have Nicole Bernard, the mullet extravaganza here to look at that. Look at that, Nicole. You look the same.
Oh, dear.
Elamino. We go every single day here, so tune in and say hello. Come see us. Come say hi. Come say all of that. But I'm glad you tuned in. And yeah, we're looking at pictures. This is how we start our day here in the lab. Now, guys, let me show you one last thing I was working on last night. I want to get your quick opinion. Maybe you like this, maybe you won't, but check this out. Was working on this yesterday. I'm trying to take a horizontal format and make it kind of interesting. Check this out. I'm going to reveal some secrets to you and to the nation. Humans, since the dawn of time, had got up in the morning and turned on what? The morning show on the radio or the TV or CNN or something like that. I had been watching for months, Ryan, that my LinkedIn blows up every morning between basically 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. And I noticed that that's when everybody comes, checks out my profile view, can make a comment, and Ryan's like, oh, who's this Keith guy? So he sees Keith, he goes, clicks on his name, and goes to his profile. So I said to myself one day, I am now going to stream in the morning like a typical morning show. So when I go leave a comment on Ryan's feed, Ryan's gonna go, oh, who's this Keith guy? And then Ryan goes and clicks on my button. He comes to my page, and what's Keith doing, Ryan?
Streaming, baby.
Building trust.
True. I did go on your profile randomly, and you were streaming. And so I clicked, and I started watching it. So that literally did happen to me.
I paused because I wanted to get the sound clip.
That's awesome.
Do we like that format? So I am trying to create a format that works for our, because we create so much horizontal video, but yet, the world's moved to a vertical feed in many ways. Not moving, but it's adopted, right? So do you ladies like that format? Does that work for you? Is it visually appealing to you?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I liked it. It got me amped up, the countdown with the music. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was the point. Good. So I elicited an emotional response, which is spectacular. Thank you. Good. Okay. One last thing before we say goodbye, guys. Today, coming up live in lab at noon, the blockchain baron, Kieran James Lubin, is joining me. He turned a bold idea into a groundbreaking reality. His journey began with an in-depth development in Ethereum, laying the groundwork for something bigger and better. So this guy has done some awesome stuff in Web3, blockchain, all that stuff. These are the kinds of people we bring here to the lab. So I'm excited about welcoming Kieran James Lubin into the lab later today at noon Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, for interesting, awesome conversations with people from around the world. That's what we're doing here in the lab here. So Trish, thanks for joining me this morning. Thanks for joining Nicole this morning. Will you come back again?
Yeah, I would love to.
Did you have fun?
Yes, I love seeing you guys.
Was this what you expected?
I didn't know what to expect, so I kind of didn't want to know what to expect. I thought it would just be easier to just come in and experience.
And did this meet your?
What I do every day. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
It's true. And did it meet your expectations of what you were hoping it was going to be?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be fun.
Good.
That's what I told my sister. I was like, I don't know what to expect, but it's going to be fun.
And was it fun? Was it worth getting up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Good. I'm glad she said yes instead of no, Nicole, because I'd be saying, oh, we got to hit the mute there. We got to hit the mute. All right. So I'm already on overtime, and I'm always like to go overtime. Trisha, thank you for coming in. Much love to you. Nicole, as well, over to you too. Thanks for joining me, obviously. Thanks for joining Nation. Nation, thanks for joining myself and Nicole. We go every single morning, Monday to Friday here in the lab. And then, of course, I go at noon as well. So we'll see you guys later today with Kieran James Lubin. And then Nicole, we're back tomorrow. We got more guests tomorrow, Nicole. We have tomorrow, quickly, Nation. We have Corey Quinn.
Oh, yay. Okay. He wrote a book.
He did.
He's a marketing guy.
Yeah. And Lori Hybe. So Corey Quinn and Lori Hybe joining us both tomorrow morning live, mornings in the lab.
Yay.
Keith and Nicole. We'll see you guys tomorrow, okay?
Awesome.
Awesome. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.